Hello and welcome to another episode of Nerd Age. This is the show where we discuss everything nerdy. My name is Mick, and with me as always are my co-hosts Josh.
What's up?
Corey.
Hey.
And Jonah.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the show, guys. We're just going to jump right into some news that dropped. I think we're going to start off with some Lord of the Rings stuff for the new Lord of the Rings Amazon Prime TV show.
Yeah, the teaser dropped. We've been kind of waiting for it for a while now. Rings of Power. We had a teaser earlier on, was probably a minute?
Not even that.
It was,
That dropped from Super Bowl?
Yeah. So we finally get some more dialogue, look at more of the characters. Let's just throw it over to Josh, our Lord of the Rings expert.
Hey,
what'd you think?
Because I was like, I only recognize like two characters, and that's because they named them. And what did we see?
Yeah, what did we learn?
Yeah, well, we learned a lot of things. So we finally were able to see. We got the live action shot of. They dropped that picture early on of the character walking, and we saw the trees. Which is
you mean Krennic?
Yeah, Krennic, exactly. So that was cool. Like we finally see. There's a lot of shots that are from the Silmarillion. So it's what's kind of leading people to say they have rights to certain things. So the fact that we see those trees means we're seeing a flashback to the first age. There's a couple shots in the trailer that are similar like that. That there's things that are like, we're hopefully going to be getting some flashbacks.
Well, there was a line even referencing like before any first breath was taken and stuff like that.
When the world was young.
Or what did they say?
And that shot, we originally thought it was Galadriel, right? But apparently it's Finrod, which is Galadriel's brother.
Oh, okay.
There's a whole thing with him that happens. So we
what
won't
a name,
spoil.
Finrod.
Yeah.
Nice.
Finrod Felagund.
Nice.
But that shot was really cool. I loved how they did that, kind of like showing the two trees, night and day. I know there's names for them, but they're escaping my memory right now. But Josh would probably know. Really cool. To me, I really liked the aesthetic of it.
Yeah, the visuals are great.
Like even, I know it's not, I don't think it's Rivendell, but like the elf cities looked elvish, like Lord of the Rings. Like if I'm comparing them to the movies, I really liked Khazad-dûm, where the dwarfs are. That looked really awesome, and it fit with even Lord of the Rings. I know I shouldn't compare it to the movies, but I think everyone's going to do that. So to me, it just felt really cool. And even the opening of the trailer, where it shows Galadriel's eyes, felt really close to what they did in Lord of the Rings. Like,
even her voice is so close to Cate Blanchett.
And they even did something with the music where when she's talking, it's like, na, 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 na.
Yeah, it's
it had
really
that
close.
Rivendell kind of thing. So that got me excited. Just my top of the head thoughts of that opening trailer. I liked how familiar it felt. Like if I had no idea what this was and I just watched it, I was like, it gave me the impression that Peter Jackson is doing this. I think it's because they're using...
Well, they've got that to work off of, right?
Yes.
They're using that to work off of. Is that something that you guys are looking forward to? Kind of like the fact that they're not going their own way. They're actually trying to kind of like emulate Peter Jackson's role on it? Or how do you guys feel about that?
I think that I like that they're kind of staying within a similar aesthetic. They're not going...
Kind of like the boundaries that he kind of loosely drew up.
And there's still like a lot of the... stuff that they're doing is grounded in drawings from Tolkien and other
that's true.
Other Tolkien artists that have worked on stuff. So a lot, like you see a lot of shots and you're like, oh, that's a Ted Naismith picture. It looks exactly like that. So they draw a lot from that, and I think Peter Jackson did the same thing.
Yeah, that's why it looks similar.
Yeah, so it looks cohesive, which is nice. Because I think when Guillermo del Toro was going to do The Hobbit, I was like, I'm not excited for that because it's going to be 180 in the other direction of like, these things are going to look weird. Like his aesthetic is so far removed from what Peter Jackson's is. So, I think that's what I'm excited to kind of get some of these through lines a little bit. They have the freedom to create brand new things, which they've already done. But a lot of the aesthetic looks pretty similar.
So do we know if this is supposed to like be in the kind of the Jackson
No, it's
universe,
not.
or is
It
it?
can't.
It's separate.
Yeah, completely separate.
Okay.
So yeah, there's no.
But definitely the same like type of flavor.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever gonna be like like you're never gonna see a cameo of someone that was in the, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I do think it's just gonna be one of those things where it feels like similar, like it feels like it's in that universe.
It's so
even
far
though it's
removed anyway that I don't think it needs to like be in the Jackson universe,
right?
Because it's second age.
So you guys are telling me
third age.
You guys are telling me that we're not going to see Peter Jackson throwing a spear to dude.
Yeah.
Walking around eating a carrot.
I mean, we might. You never know. He could be like, "Hey, I want to be this."
Can you imagine?
I thought there were some really cool scenes. I think it looked beautiful. You can tell that they've spent money on this.
Yeah. That's what most people say. They're like, "Well, there's no shortage of money."
Right. To me, I think the best things is I liked the interactions. I thought even in a short trailer, the acting was good. Like the conversation between Galadriel and Elrond, I was like, this is good stuff. Like they're already building, like there's conflict there. There's something going on. And I just think there's going to be so much history that we're going to learn. Again, like I know a little bit, a fraction from stuff I've read, from books that I've gone through. But just to be able to kind of lay out the history, I thought the Númenóreans looked really cool. Their cities were awesome. So I just think there's going to be a lot. The only thing that I still don't know about the Harfoots.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Because they're completely added by the creators of this, right? It's not based on Tolkien. It's just kind of like, let's do like the proto-hobbits, right? Am I wrong about that?
So Harfoots, which is what they're called, exist in Tolkien, but it's he doesn't write about them in the Second Age, right? So the time that they're set, they're like not really around. But Tolkien's explanation for that is they're small and they were always kind of hidden away and they weren't really paid attention to, kind of a thing. So you could make the argument, they were always around, just people weren't aware of them. Because the narrative of the Lord of the Rings books is it's a historical. People are writing the story,
right?
The history,
like record of it.
It's a record of events. So obviously they weren't aware of the Harfoots at that time, so they didn't come into the story.
So they kind of like retroactive. It was like, oh yeah, well apparently Harfoot was a thing, but we just didn't notice him.
Right.
Okay, cool.
And that makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense the way they're doing it because you're even telling like they're wanderers, right? So they're all like they've got stuff in their hair, so they remain hidden. Hiding, yeah. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. And what I kind of like about it is, just if I'm doing like my own headcanon, I can see like this is how they originated. They were like nomads wandering, right? And then whenever something would come into where they were living, they would then move away, right? And so because of this, like these decades, millennia of kind of wandering, they eventually end up in the Shire and are like, we're done with the wandering. We're going to stay put and we don't go on adventures. That to me is like, that makes sense to me if you kind of explain that. So to me, that's something that I'm interested to see what they do with that.
I think the only thing that I would probably be maybe like not like as much if they're like front and center for everything that's happening. You know what I mean? Like they have to write it creatively so that they're not like they're going to war. You know what I mean? It'd be like that's not that shouldn't happen. They shouldn't even be aware of. So I think they have to be careful with how big of an influence they have in the story. But it's interesting that they include them. I think they're almost like I think they're going to be more of like a point of view character for like our for the audience to be like, story. Oh, there's these two races that have lived, elves, millennia, and Númenóreans for hundreds and hundreds of years. And how do we relate to that? We have a point of view entrance character in the Harfoots, but. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like.
I was going to ask, because I just all I have to play off of here is the existing characters I know.
Yeah.
And just looking at like, oh, this is really cool visual. But for you that a little bit more involved in the Silmarillion and stuff like that, what are you the most excited about for this series? What piques your interest the most?
So I think the most interesting thing for me is seeing the politics that happen in Númenor. I really am interested to see how that plays out. How
the
they
vote
do
of
that.
no confidence, in the Senate.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it going to be like it's going to be like Game of Thrones?
It is similar. Like
backstabbing,
you've got established rulers, people that want to take over. There's that kind of storyline going on, and I just really am interested to see the dynamics between the elves, because we see Elrond talking to Galadriel. Yeah. We see Gil-galad, who's the High King of the elves.
He looks sick.
He looks really cool. And that's another visual. He looks exactly like the actor they cast in the prologue for the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So you see him very shortly.
That's cool.
In the beginning. I don't know if you guys saw those pictures where he has his sweet spear.
Yeah, he has like the massive
Aglos.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to see how they kind of work them in, and then Celebrimbor, who's the guy that forges the rings. We haven't seen him in any of the trailers. People were super upset with the way he looked. They're like, "Oh, he looks like an old elf."
Was it the? Oh, okay.
He's got shorter hair.
Like you shouldn't be aged like that.
Yeah,
like
but
you just.
I think what they're trying to do, they're trying to establish, like with ageless characters, how do you?
Your skin can be worn, especially if you like are, a blacksmith where you're actively being singed and stuff like that.
So it's like, how do you
buy that?
How do you convey maturity? Versus, because Galadriel's a lot younger than Celebrimbor.
Because once you hit like 100,
they're all
the
just going to look the same, and they're going to like have name tags that say what year they were born.
Just the graying of the temples, like they do in comic books.
There you go.
Yeah, interesting.
But yeah, I'm really excited to see how. I think the biggest thing for me is Sauron is the biggest question.
So they did that scene where they're like, this guy was skewered and there's a bunch of red and there's everything like kind of just.
That's Morgoth. That has to be Morgoth, right? Or I was seeing one. Morgoth's like Sauron's boss.
He's the big
People
bad.
were saying, why aren't we doing Morgoth? I saw a lot of comments.
And the answer is,
do we know?
We don't have the rights to it.
Aha, I see. So I saw a lot of YouTube comments complaining about that.
Right.
We've already seen Sauron. Why aren't we doing Morgoth? That's why?
Yeah, because it's Silmarillion proper, first age. They don't have rights to it. And I think it would be weird if they were like, let's get rights to these stories, because it's such a huge encompassing storyline. Literally dealing with the gods of Middle Earth fighting. So it's hard to. That's what the Silmarillion. A lot of it's about.
Right.
I think we will get mentions of Morgoth though.
Cool.
I mean, I think you have to, and I think because I was seeing multiple things like in that scene where it's the red. The one guy was like, it looks like there's like water. Yeah. And so they're like, is that when?
Oh, really?
Cool.
There's
like a 40-year war.
I was wondering how they were suspended like that.
There's like a 40-year war, right? And then half of the Middle Earth, or a big piece of Middle Earth, goes into the ocean, right? Yeah. So that there's like that could be that battle kind of thing. What's that happening? That could be like in a prologue or something, like explaining stuff. I know they're going to do stuff with Finrod and kind of what happens to him.
His name.
He's
Finrod.
He's captured, and then there's this whole other thing. We don't want to go into spoilers, but that makes Galadriel then be on a mission to So
it's interesting. That's one of those visuals that I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. There's people that are so like, oh, it's definitely this specific thing from the books, and it's like, I don't know if that's it. I almost think it might be Galadriel maybe has a vision of something.
Okay. Yeah,
because she's obviously, at least the way they frame it in the trailer, it's like, oh, you don't know what I've seen. So, and then they show that, which is like, is she having a vision of something? Is it future catastrophe? But
there was a lot of visuals. I was just like, kind of like, I had no idea what I was looking at. Like, there's this shot of this dude who's like in fire, and then the fire gets extinguished or something.
That's the meteor that's coming down.
That's Meteor Man.
No one knows what that is.
No one knows what he is.
Because that's not in the books.
It's not, it's not part of the books.
Okay.
So in the earlier teaser, everyone was looking up.
Meteor Man.
And there was a meteor going across, right?
So that's
him.
That.
He's in the meteor.
He lands.
Rocket Man.
And some people are like, oh, he's Sauron, maybe. Because even the visual of like the shot
is
above,
that how the
fire gets extinguished and it almost looks like an eye.
Oh, like the shape of it? Like
so he
kind of oblong.
He like brings in the fire to himself. That's one of the big mysteries they've kind of set up. Is like, who is it? Is it Sauron?
I mean, it makes sense.
Some people are saying that it could be the wizards.
Yeah,
but it doesn't seem to fit for the time because the wizards are already in Middle Earth.
Are they space wizards?
No, they come from the Undying Lands.
Okay.
And so other people are saying it's Sauron trying to deceive people, because he can come and
he's a shapeshifter.
He's a shapeshifter, so he comes in and then could be like, "Oh, I'm a wizard and I'm here to help," kind of thing.
Wizard Harry.
You're a wizard.
But I think what they're kind of doing is whoever the girl is, that I know she has a name, but she's the Harfoot.
Nori.
Nori.
I think so.
It looks like she finds the person in the meteor, right? Because there's a shot where she's like reaching out and grabbing his hand. So I'm like, is that going to be kind of like whoever this is, whether it's Sauron or a wizard or something else, this is going to be...
Okay.
She's going to be connected to this person.
Okay. This is getting me a little more excited about this.
It'll be, I honestly wouldn't have a problem if they made it Gandalf. They're compressing the timeline already.
Yeah.
So it's like, at this point, you're already compressing the timeline. If you say this is when Gandalf came, I would be like, okay, that's fine.
You think they'd do that?
I think they might. And it would be interesting because then he would have a connection to the
hobbits. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then eventually he's really one of the only, let's say, big characters that actually knows what's going on with the hobbits.
That would be.
I think that would
very
make sense.
interesting.
That would be interesting because I think then it would give a little backstory to why he is so enamored with hobbits.
Right.
When everyone else is like, who are they? Right?
Maybe they're the reasons like they cared for him early on and kind of like helped him initially. He didn't have a beard though, so I don't believe it.
I think there's he might have a beard.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Dang.
and even all the
got
shots,
a fireproof beard, bro.
all the shots they've had, he's had like kind of similar.
Yeah.
Even his gray robe,
Yeah.
like in the shot where he holds hands, he's got like a gray. So I'm like, is that?
It would
could
be
be.
interesting.
It could be interesting.
It might
Again,
just be Sauron.
if that happens, you get ready for videos. Being like,
people
are
ridiculous.
People are already angry.
Here's my thing. I just wish people let it, like the amount of videos I'm seeing of people being like, this is art. People are already down attacking this. And I'm like, watch it. Let go through the story. If you don't like it, talk about what you don't like, but give it a chance. Like, we don't know. Like a lot of people are complaining about the dwarf beards and why do the girls not have beards? Why is there a dark elf? Why is there, it doesn't matter. Like, let them tell the story. If you don't like it at the end of it, then by all means say you don't like it. But from the beginning, haven't even seen a first episode, and you're already going on these like trying to rally people around to be like, let's sign this petition to cancel it. It's like, no, like if it's not for you, it's not for you.
Right.
But let it happen. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But give it a chance.
Yeah, because you have the power to kind of stop it, right? But you have to at least give it a try.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially if it's great storytelling. I mean, hey, it might be an awesome addition.
Yeah. I think we've talked about it before. It's like, if this show is terrible and sucks, it literally doesn't have an effect on your love for the world that's been created. It's like, oh, guess what? I don't like that. I still have the books I can reread, or I can rewatch the movies.
Well, we were never going to get anything, so now we're getting something. So it's like
bonus.
You don't have to watch this,
Yeah, that's the thing that drives me nuts.
But for people like us who want to see something in this world, I think it's an amazing exploration.
Right.
I hope it's good.
And the other thing is, the Silmarillion and all the other like additional books that Tolkien wrote are incredibly difficult to adapt. Like a nightmare to adapt.
And they changed from one thing to another. Like over time, even Tolkien changed some things. So
he's
it's
the
like
king of retcon.
So
he really is.
To me, it's kind of like if you're looking at these, like you said, as history, right? We've seen that happen even in our history of the world. Is like, what did maps look like before?
Yeah,
right. And then
changing.
people explored and were like, oh, it actually looks like this. So I just feel like have that mentality of being like, hey, this is maybe someone's interpretation of what history was. Maybe it's not what you thought it should be, but like, let it happen. Like, just watch it and see.
Well, you don't have to let it happen. No petition's going to cancel this freaking $1 million. How many millions of dollars have they dumped into this? Have they even said?
It's close to $1 billion.
Yeah, I believe it.
With the rights and what they've done.
Yeah.
I think I even read that they're saying it's not a traditional like, oh, I hope we get greenlit for season 2, that they supposedly already have 5 seasons.
Whoa.
Well, and the writers said they know exactly how they're going to, the last shot of the series.
Oh, cool. That's good.
When they had to pitch to Amazon and the Tolkien estate, they had to come with an outline of these are what our seasons are. This is the story we're telling.
Yeah. Nice.
And they're the ones that won out versus a bunch of other people. So
do we know how many episodes are in?
I don't know.
100.
It's $1 billion, baby.
Yeah,
I would assume it's going to be 10. I thought it
think
was
it's probably
10.
10.
I thought it was 10, and it
10?
wasn't it like 100 million per episode. Is what
I think so. That sounds about right.
Holy crap.
But yeah, we'll see. What do you think, Mick? You excited?
You've been
Yeah,
very
I'm
quiet.
really
over there.
excited. I haven't had any issues with the show at all when it first got announced. But
Yeah.
like you said, like immediate uproar with
Yeah.
some very passionate fans out there, which is fine. You can have your opinion, but like you said, the proper way to go about it is to just let the show come out and then have your opinion.
Yeah.
It's stupid to, want to cancel it or think it looks, it's going to ruin, your childhood of Tolkien stuff when you haven't even seen it yet. So I'm really excited for it. And the new trailer just bumped it up even more. So I think it'll be really good.
I don't think they showed it in this trailer, but in the teaser, we did see Ents. So we have confirmed that there'll be Ents.
Ents
in the show.
confirmed. You heard
Ents
it here
confirmed,
first.
baby.
Ents confirmed.
And maybe Ent wives. So
And
that'd be cool.
Children?
maybe
Saplings?
Entlings.
Saplings, though.
Yeah, and it comes out in September, so
Entlings.
it's really close.
That is really cool.
What'd you say?
September.
Woo! What date? 29th, my birthday. Let's go.
I think it's early. Maybe
Okay,
the 9th.
awesome. Early
I mean,
birthday.
we're gonna and does Amazon do like one a week?
Yep, it'll
Okay.
be a 1 a week.
That's what Halo did, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Paramount, though.
Oh, it wasn't
Yeah,
Prime?
it was Paramount.
Oh, okay. okay.
Yeah, but the
sweet,
boys
your
was
point's
weekly.
The boys.
Yeah.
So
the
we're
boys.
gonna have a lot of. I mean, we're gonna have the Lord of the Rings show. We're gonna have Andor. We're gonna have the Bad Batch 2.
It's got a 3-hour podcast. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
it's gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
Your ears will be sore.
bleeding.
Our wives are going to be furious.
right.
It's going to be great.
Especially mine.
Anything else
Right.
on the Lord of the Rings that you guys want to bring up? Anything else that caught your eye in the teaser? I thought the music was really good.
Yeah.
And the little song that they.
Is it
Yeah.
Howard Shore again?
I hope the
So-
music's good.
They said Howard Shore is involved, but it's Bear McCreary, who did the God of War music.
Oh, okay.
So Howard Shore basically was like, sounds good.
Yeah.
He's involved, ladies and gentlemen.
He signed off on it.
At least what they said. I don't
Got a
think they
fat
ever
check.
announced it. Maybe he's making like kind of what John Williams does. He does the main theme, and then
Right.
Bear
Yeah.
McCreary riffs off it and creates other stuff. But we'll see.
It sounded good.
Yeah,
That is a big thing, though, about the show. If the music doesn't feel Lord of the Rings to me, that's going to be a big part where it's going to be hard to enjoy it.